Hello, I'm Lauren Cosgrave, and welcome to The Lauren Show. I'm a life and small business coach. Join me each week for ideas on how you can lead, love, and thrive. Have you ever wanted to have it all without doing it all? Or maybe you're just feeling stuck. Or perhaps you've always been a really successful person, but you've all of a sudden got this weird feeling that you don't want to be successful anymore because you're starting to feel burnout. Well, high performance coaching may be the answer and has definitely been the secret sauce for me. I'm opening up a few select spots for my first round of certified high performance coaching to start in December. Head over to laurencosgrave.com, schedule a 15-minute strategy session, and let's talk about it. I'd love for you to kick off 2020 strong, prepared, with clarity and intention. If this sounds like a good fit for you, let's chat. Now, on to the show. Hi creative leaders, I'm Lauren Cosgrave, and today's video I wanted to give you a few tips on how to write your social media posts. Now, I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I sit down and I just don't know what to write, or I have been working on this post for like 4 hours and I keep going back and editing it, and I have a couple of power tips for you so that you can get through your post in like half the amount of time, if not a fraction of it. You really shouldn't be spending more than like 10 to 20 minutes on your content and what you're copywriting for your post. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I have like my one like power tip for you that can really make copywriting easy and simple. Okay, step one, you have to know who your ideal customer is. And I like to call it your bestie customer. Who do you love working with? Who is it that you just wish you could have clones of to either walk into your shop or buy your product or receive your services? That person, you have to have them in mind and give them a name. Give them a name. So like my bestie client's name is June. And I'm just like kind of throwing out a random name here for you guys. And so let's imagine June is my bestie client. So when I sit down to do a post, either an Instagram post or a Facebook post, I'm going to have June in the top of my mind. And I'm going to imagine that June is sitting next to me. So every time you sit down to write a post, imagine that you're having coffee with your bestie client. And what do you want them to know? What do you want to share with them? What would you tell them if they sat in front of you and said, ugh, I'm really struggling with blank? And how would you speak to them and share that content with them? To say like, here's what I want you to know. Okay, so that's my first tip, is imagine that your bestie client is sitting right next to you and you're just talking to them, and start just writing. Okay? My next tip is to limit what you're going to say in your post. Okay? So I know you want to pour your So as you're talking with your bestie client and you're not going to be pouring your heart out, I want you to limit it to just one power tip for that day for that person. So I like to give you guys power tips all the time. So what are your power tips for your client? How could you envision your client using your product or service? What gift can you, little tiny micro gift can you give them for the day that's like, here's how you can maximize use of my product or service? At most 3 tips. So try and limit it. Here's like one thing I would love for you to know about this post today, and maximum of 3. So you can go up to 3. Here are like the 3 things that I learned that I think would serve you. So 1 or 3 things. So that's tip number 2. And the last and final tip, and this is like the really juicy, meaty one, is always make sure your post is driving people to your website or to a follow-on conversation with you. This is what transitions your social media into a revenue-generating engine for your business. There are some more advanced strategies out there around like making your Instagram stories shoppable, things like that. But if you do nothing else, just make sure that your posts are inviting people to share, to like, and ultimately to go to your website and shop or set up a complimentary consult with you. Always continue that conversation and invite them even further into your world. And if you can, like, keep building your email list, you got to drive them to that email list content. So I'm going to follow my own advice here. I invite you to head over to laurencosgrave.com to schedule a 15-minute consult with me if you feel that you're ready to 10x your business and take this to the next level. Let's have a chat. Let's see where you're at. Let's analyze your goals and just see how maybe we could work together. I'd love to have that conversation with you. So I still have some time on my calendar. It's really clearly laid out there at laurencosgrave.com at the bottom to schedule a 15-minute strategy session. So I wish you a day full of energy, and let me know how this served you. Let me know if your social media posts from writing your copy. I hope you loved this episode of The Lauren Show on YouTube or podcast. If you did, why don't you hit subscribe below and share on your social media? If you are ready to have it all without doing it all, why don't you schedule a 15-minute strategy session with me at laurencosgrave.com. Start leading, loving, and thriving today.